Hey guys, it's BHB, and today for everyone, we are going to be dipping our interest into something slightly different than what this channel is used to, and instead of focusing on basketball itself, we're going to be focusing on talking basketball, or in this case, a sports debate show called Undisputed on FS1. Basically, if you guys are unfamiliar with this debate show, it's basically a sports talk show between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe, who both go back and forth over sports debates that span from modern day news to historical events. Though the show is usually a two-sport talk show, it's kind of like a bicameral type structure, as they mainly focus on basketball and football, starring the faces of the respective leagues, LeBron James and Tom Brady. Now I think that's a pretty good summary of what Undisputed is, but now it's time to delve even deeper what we're going to be doing today. In this video, I'm going to be analyzing the debate strategies of one Skip Bayless and one Shannon Sharpe. Now to be fair, I am a huge fan of both, but when it comes to which one is the better debater, that title is going to have to go to Skip Bayless, regardless of how unfair he argues, which we'll be showing later in the video. So as a result, this video will be based on Skip Bayless's devices that he uses during an argument, and why he always seems to stay one step ahead, keeping the audience of Undisputed as well as Shannon frustrated out of our minds. And right off the bat, it's time to give a disclaimer. I don't have a degree in psychology, law, or anything actually at all. I've just been watching Undisputed for I think 5 years now, and I've just gotten so accustomed to Skip's debate strategies that I can actively call out and either shame or applaud his actions during an argument. So remember, I don't mean to belittle or offend any skill that is required in an argument. I'm just simply going to be talking about how much I enjoy the debating between the two and explain what I see and what interests me. Now let's just get right into it. Alright, so basically for today's shows, we're going to be looking at a show where Skip and Shannon debate on LeBron James getting 0 votes for being the best player in the world. So right off the bat, Shannon simply makes a claim that LeBron James, who was voted for numerous times as the best player in the NBA, would get more than 0 votes, like he did this year.
Okay, I can see it, Skip. I can see it. Like I said, it's all about updating your resume. And LeBron James is no different. But I can tell you what, I promise you're going to update his resume. I promise you. Now, we're going to have this, I want to take a vote going into next season. And let's see how many votes he gets.
Really?
In response, Skip Bayless deadass comes out of nowhere and says this.
So he's the first human in the history of this planet who actually gets younger by the year?
No.
Oh.
No.
Alright, so first off, nobody freaking said that, okay? That's not a real strategy that Skip Bayless uses, but it's an indicator of what's to come. Right now, that's a mild device that he used, in my opinion. That wasn't even that crazy. But in the next 5 seconds, you're gonna see some pretty crazy shit, alright? So here we have Shannon asking a simple yes or no question.
But let me be honest. Before he injured his ankle, did he look like he was slowing down? It's a simple yes. I don't want to hear nothing about no three-point shot. I don't want to hear anything about free throws. Did he look like he was slowing down?
Now he says don't mention free throw or 3-point percentages. Now what does Skip do? What does he do immediately in response?
Boy, his 3-point shooting and free throw shooting was horrendously bad.
See, there you go.
Well, is that not true?
And so right here we have to admit, this shit's pretty impressive, alright? I mean, it's devious, yet impressive. So imagine in court, your lawyer's making a claim, okay? Look, even though my defendant was drunk, he was simply walking on the sidewalk. Does this really give you the right to punch him? I mean, looking at that, does he answer the question? No, he just continually shits on the fact that the dude was drunk, instead of answering the question that would have backed him into a hole. That's what Skip Bayless is doing. By simply ignoring the yes or no that Shannon has sprung onto him, Bayless just breaks the rules of an argument and goes on to his own tangent, one that completely focuses on everything that LeBron is doing at a subpar level. But that's that little subplot. Now when moving on to the topic of LeBron's injury that basically ended the Lakers season, to move on to say this.
And
he fell apart, or was he injured?
Okay, well, you say it was, but he turned his ankle thanks to Solomon Hill, who tried to pull his punch and sort of flinched away. And I don't know, LeBron even stayed in the game and made a 3 and trotted up the floor. And the next thing I know, he's gone for 2 months.
So after basically saying that LeBron was lying about the severity of his injury since he stayed on the floor so long, Shannon comes back with this.
Well, Kawhi stayed in the game and made a free throw and played defense.
Okay.
Now, Skip Bayless, when he has absolutely nothing to say, has a tendency to literally just ignore the excellent points made by Shannon Sharpe. For example, here.
Well, I was convinced that because LeBron was at an advanced stage and age of his career, that they just said, just shut it down and be ready to go for the playoff run.
And then that wasn't the case. Though.
Okay. Well, he wasn't ready to go because when he lost AD in the playoffs, he wasn't able to save the day by himself.
He legit has no answer. Because there is none in response to Shannon's claim about Kawhi. Because Kawhi, in fact, did exactly the same thing LeBron did. However, Skip ignores an even larger retort later in the video when on the topic of KD.
Remind you about KD. When he lost James Harden and Kyrie, he wasn't able to save the day.
He made one of the great playoff shots ever. We'll get to that in just a moment.
We'll get to that in just a moment. But I mean, did they? No. And now we move on to a final clip that I'd like to show here that just encapsulates the absolute bullshit that Skip throws, man, at Shannon. It's pretty hilarious. So to provide some context for this clip, Skip says LeBron's assist average dropped,
but his assists fell from 10.2 the year before when he led the league in assists all the way down to 7.8. That's a plummet.
And Shannon comes to reply with a valid point.
Right there.
But let me ask you a question. So we're not going to mention the fact that Dennis Schroeder assists went up to a career high.
But focus how Skip literally says a bunch of nothing to literally just say LeBron's assist average went down to make a point.
Okay. So you're not going to mention that?
Okay, but what do I always say about LeBron James? He's the best passer in basketball to this day. He has the highest IQ in basketball to this day.
Yes.
Even at his advanced age and stage, he's still the best in those two categories. Well, shouldn't he have a shot at leading the league in assists again? Isn't that what he does the best?
So Shannon, with his sharp mind, reiterates his point once again.
Let me ask you a question. Skip, it's kind of like Mike Evans. Mike Evans is one of the best receivers in football. But did his numbers take a step back? Of course they did. Because why? Tom Brady sped the ball around. Chris Godwin got catches. Other people got catches.
But now, this time when backed against a wall, Skip Bayless, you guessed it, says some out-of-this-world batshit crazy take that has the sole purpose of getting his ass out of the sticky situation, which is the first debate strategy that he used at the beginning of this video.
So now
we're comparing LeBron James to Mike Evans?
No.
Nobody said that. Nobody fucking said that LeBron James was Mike Evans. No one even compared status in the league, in the organization, on the team. Nobody said that. So I'm just wondering, how do you pull that out of your ass? It's actually impressive. So that's like if Skip said only bad people like apples. That's a pretty dumb claim. So in response, I could say there are plenty of US presidents that like apples. And from my common sense logical perspective, that means not only bad people like apples. Because, I bet there's plenty of US presidents in the past that have liked apples. Instead of connecting A to B like I did, however, Skip Bayless would blast off from A to fucking 23 and say, are you saying that the presidents of the United States, this great country, that hosts the greatest sports show on earth, Undisputed, which airs on FS1, are criminals? That's what he's trying to do. So instead of using, common sense, he decides to go extreme off, the logical platform that we've established in order to get himself out of that. No one fucking said LeBron was Mike Evans. But that's what Skip does. And that's a problem. I don't know how Shannon does it, but look, Shannon continues to say that isn't what he meant because it isn't. So he re-explains what he really meant and makes an even better point.
That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying someone else had the ball in their hand and they had a career high in assists.
Okay.
But you won't mention that.
So guess how Skip responds to this one. Guess what this man says.
So what happened statistically to LeBron last year? His three-point attempts went sky high. They went to a career high 6.3 a game. Am I right?
Okay.
Why was that? Because he's no longer chasing Michael B. Jordan, as I said, his first year when he missed the playoffs in LA. He's chasing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time point scoring
What about you?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just can't do this shit no more, man. Skip really be running around saying these wild ass things and getting away with it because he's playing a game of tag right now, but he's running outside of the boundaries, while Shannon, the gentleman he is, stays in bounds to play the game by the rules. So regardless, guys, that's gonna be the video for the week. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and be sure to let me know what y'all think of Skip's argumentative strategies against Shannon, or I guess vice versa, in the comment section down below. Till next time, it's been BHB.
I started with an A for right, and then I went and changed my life. might take out the red tonight. Put your arms around me, baby.